Welcome back to the channel, the place where extraordinary stories, unbelievable talents, and moments that the world can't stop talking about come to life. Today, get ready, because what you're about to witness is one of the most surprising, heartwarming, and downright unbelievable auditions ever to grace the Britain's Got Talent stage. A moment so unexpected that even Simon Cowell, the toughest critic on the planet, couldn't hide his disbelief. This is the story of the dog that can actually sing, and meow, and win the hearts of millions without saying a single word. Well, not a human word, at least. It all begins like every great unexpected talent story does, with a quiet audience, a skeptical panel of judges, and a contestant that absolutely nobody could have predicted. On this particular day, the crowd inside the theater settled into their seats, expecting dancers, singers, magicians, maybe a comedian or two. What they definitely weren't expecting was a furry performer with 4 legs, a wagging tail, and the kind of charisma that could melt even the coldest heart. As the lights dimmed, the stage doors opened, and in walked a woman holding onto the lead of a fluffy, bright-eyed dog. The audience giggled, thinking they were about to see a cute puppy trick. Simon leaned back in his chair with that familiar expression that said, "Here we go again. Another novelty act. Another few minutes before the real talent arrives." But what no one knew, not the audience, not the judges, not anyone watching from home, was that they were moments away from witnessing something that would go viral across the entire world. The dog, whose name would soon be known by millions, took a confident step forward onto the iconic BGT star on the stage floor. He wagged his tail, lifted his head, and looked around as if he were the only one in the building who truly understood what was about to happen. His owner introduced herself, her voice nervous but filled with pride. She explained that her dog had a very unusual and very special talent. A talent so unique that she wasn't even sure the judges would believe it until they heard it for themselves. Simon raised an eyebrow. Amanda leaned forward. Alesha smiled politely. And Bruno looked absolutely delighted at the idea of a dog performance. But even then, even with the owner's warning, no one was prepared. And then the music began. A soft instrumental track filled the auditorium, something calm, something warm, something that set the perfect emotional tone. The owner knelt down beside her dog, whispered gently into his ear, and gave him the cue. What happened next had the whole audience gasping, and the judges sitting up straight. The dog began to sing. Not bark. Not howl. Not whine the way most dogs do when they hear a melody. No. This dog sang. His voice rose and fell with the pitch of the music. It matched the melody in a way that was strangely beautiful and eerily controlled. It wasn't perfect, of course, he was still a dog, but it was astonishingly close. The entire audience erupted into laughter, applause, cheers, and pure disbelief. Simon's eyes widened, and for a moment he genuinely didn't know how to react. Was this real? Was he dreaming? Was this somehow staged? But as the dog continued, hitting higher tones with an adorable determination, Simon's grin broke through, a rare, authentic expression of joy that only appears when something truly special happens on that stage. But just when everyone thought that was the end of the surprises, the owner gave the second cue. And the dog meowed. A perfect, sharp, unmistakable meow, right on the beat. The theater exploded. People were screaming, laughing, clapping, crying, because they had just witnessed something they didn't even think was possible. A dog capable of switching from singing to meowing as casually as a human singer might switch from chest voice to falsetto. The owner burst into relieved laughter, the dog continued happily performing, and for the first time in a long time, all 4 judges were truly speechless. The cameras zoomed in on Simon, who shook his head slowly as if trying to restart his brain. Bruno placed a hand over his heart, dramatically overwhelmed. Alesha covered her mouth, unable to stop smiling. And Amanda simply said, "That is the cutest thing I have ever seen in my life." But the performance wasn't just cute, it was shockingly entertaining. The dog sang in rhythm, responded to cues, and delivered a comedic timing that would put some human performers to shame. Every time the owner raised a finger, he let out a proud melodic howl. Every time she tapped the stage floor, he produced another crisp meow, sending the crowd into hysterics. Halfway through the performance, the audience began chanting the dog's name. And the dog, soaking in the attention like a true superstar, wagged his tail with such joy it was impossible not to fall in love with him instantly. But the best moment, The moment that would become a viral meme, a reaction GIF, and a historic moment on the show, happened at the very end. The music faded. The owner gave the final cue. The dog lifted his head and let out one long, emotional, sustained singing note that echoed across the theater like a canine opera solo. It was so pure, so dramatic, so unbelievably funny, that the entire auditorium roared like a stadium. Simon slammed his hand on the table, laughing so hard he had to wipe tears from his eyes. When the music stopped, the applause was deafening. People jumped to their feet. Standing ovation. One of the biggest of the season. The dog barked proudly, as if saying, thank you very much. I'll be here all week. And now came the judge's turn to speak. Bruno stood immediately, unable to contain his excitement. He called it a masterpiece of joy, a performance he would remember for the rest of his life. The audience loved it. So did the dog, who jumped up excitedly as if understanding every word. Alesha described it as magical, heartwarming, and exactly the kind of act that makes Britain's Got Talent special. She praised the owner's bond with her dog, pointing out how much work and love must have gone into training such an extraordinary skill. Amanda was emotional. She talked about how the world needs more laughter, more warmth, more innocence, and how this performance delivered all of that in just a few unforgettable minutes. Then finally, it came time for Simon, the most important reaction of all. He leaned forward, still smiling in disbelief. He said that in all the years he'd been on the show, he thought he had seen everything, but clearly, he was wrong. He called the dog a natural-born entertainer, a four-legged icon, and one of the most surprising acts the show had ever seen. He paused, letting the tension rise, letting the audience hold their breath. And then he said the words that sent the entire theater into a frenzy. It's a yes from me. One by one, the judges followed. 4 yeses. A unanimous vote. A golden moment, even if it wasn't the golden buzzer, that spread across social media like wildfire. Within hours, clips of the singing meowing dog were trending globally. Millions watched, shared, and fell in love with the adorable star who stole the show. And behind all the laughter was a deeper message. Sometimes, the world doesn't need another perfect voice or flawless act. Sometimes, it just needs something pure. Something joyful. Something unexpected. Something that reminds people that talent comes in all shapes, all sizes, and sometimes, all species. The dog didn't just entertain, he brought happiness to millions. He reminded everyone watching that joy can come from the most surprising places. That even in the biggest talent competition in the world, a small dog with a big personality can become a legend. As the dog trotted off the stage, wagging his tail proudly, the owner wiped tears from her eyes. She thanked the judges, thanked the audience, and thanked her incredible companion. But little did she know that this moment was just the beginning. The dog's audition racked up millions of views. Fans demanded merchandise, memes exploded across the internet, and people from every corner of the world wanted to see more. Because when an act is this unexpected, this lovable, and this joyful, it becomes unforgettable. And that is the story of the dog that can actually sing, and meow, and change the Britain's Got Talent stage forever. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and ring the bell so you never miss another incredible tale from the world's most extraordinary performers. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep believing that anything is possible. Even a singing dog.